Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin Christensen. In this presentation, I'm covering the topic of water scarcity. It is a complex problem and requires an interdisciplinary approach due to all the causes and factors that go into the water scarcity issues that we face and can face even with a higher impact in the future. While water is a renewable resource, its uses are vital in everyday life, with consumption and using for just multiple uses. It's also extremely important for production. That being said, agriculture is the leader in water usage for irrigation and crop production. However, water is also used recreationally, residentially, and industrially. Our freshwater resources include groundwater and surface water, where we pull water from lakes, rivers, and underground reservoirs that do recharge over time. But these resources are recharging at slower rates than normal due to environmental changes and processes, as well as rapid population growth. Our demand for water is increasing, while freshwater resources are having slower rates of recharge. And no discipline alone is suited to compose a working solution for this issue. So in this study, or this presentation, I've used plant and soil sciences and psychology to work together to form a plan and solution to help lessen the impact of water scarcity. With my concentration, plant and soil sciences, it is used in this presentation to provide current water statuses regarding contamination and conservation and management practices. This discipline specializes in agriculture and how processes work with soil and plants that require water to live and function. So one thing that was found, that I found, the United States Environmental Protection Agency gave information to how consuming and utilizing contaminated water can affect people. Drinking or using contaminated water, unsafe water, we can experience negative health effects mentally or physically. Just in day-to-day practices, this is seen like through rashes, skin rashes, or having even harsher health effects, diseases from bacteria that's found in contaminated water or pipe systems. And these practices and management plans can be shown through studies by Malikasady and Karami. That is just one that I've chosen for this study. They show how the resilience theory can begin the process of allowing agriculture to find ways of cutting back on its usage. The changes with the resilience theory would closely resemble under irrigation of crops. However, the production levels would remain the same. And it is obvious that farmers have ways of how they've come to run their land and their production. They found what works for them. So it would be difficult to change those practices. However, this information and current statuses of water would provide stepping stones towards making a positive change towards water scarcity. And looking at psychology, it aids in helping to understand how we as humans make decisions and how we behave. Those are seen through how we build relationships and make decisions based on our environments, our social interactions, as well as our societal statuses. Psychology isn't quite easy to connect with plant and soil sciences or water scarcity, although it is helpful to provide information on how we will be impacted with the problem facing water scarcity. The climate clock was a study that was introduced in 2006 in the Silicon Valley to provide civilian input and incentives to make changes in order to see like current active updates and statuses of climate change. The study provided the impact that civilians feel they took part of in making changes and being able to see those results in public and throughout their community. And another study that I used in this presentation was how people make decisions based on their access to resources, and how facing lack of resources will help us, or not help per se, but it will change how we behave towards acquiring those resources. This study, it wasn't specific on what resources were tested. However, what was tested was, or shown, how our societal status and environments pose selfish or generous manners in decisions and towards giving to others or providing what there's lack of or not as much to give. We are driven to make achievements in life based on how our environments surrounding us have affected us and how our social status allows us to acquire the resources we need for survival. And with this study, I have found that the plant and soil sciences and psychology can go hand in hand to produce a solution that would work towards providing water conservation plans and management practices that are able to be consumed by the public, any civilian, in order to allow them to make changes and help with cutting back on overusage of water. We're able to see these practices and programs in order to take necessary steps to just from civilians all the way up to industries that have mass usages of water in areas that we're able to make changes. We're able to begin changes due to access of all of the information regarding contamination of waters and where it is utilized most, and also our current freshwater resources or freshwater sources. And we're able to understand our how we can behave when faced with water scarcity, and just understanding how we would make changes in order to acquire resources. Both disciplines are useful in providing useful information for us to cohesively build a plan towards conservation of freshwater sources and allow for programs that will incentivize people to make changes within their everyday life and provide ways of acting on water scarcity. It is dire that changes are made to provide fresh and clean water for all life's needs and purposes. And it is important that we utilize multiple disciplines in order to access and help build on solutions that will make a change and make an impact for resource scarcity or water scarcity.